Hi there, welcome to another episode of Around the Emirates with Sarah. I have a very special guest here, Ghaliaa.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thank you for being on the show. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
I'm all good. I'm all good.
That's good. So for those of you that don't know, but you should know because she's freaking famous, Ghaliaa is actually a really talented performer.
Thank you, Sarah.
So tell me about you. Where are you from? What got you into performing?
I am Syrian. I grew up in LA.
Okay.
And I play four instruments. I sing. I'm a singer, songwriter, a music producer, music composer. So thank you. So I'm 23, and I decided at the age of 19 to literally take this as a profession. And I studied media for like 4 years in LA and Abu Dhabi University, and then one day I woke up and I'm like, screw this. I'm just gonna do music for the rest of my life. My family, gratefully, my family is very supportive. I also grew up in a super, musical sort of environment, and
But your parents play as well?
My dad plays a lot of instruments.
Okay.
My grandma, my grandpa. So I was all like,
Mashallah.
the influence was pretty heavy. And yeah, growing up in a house where like my dad would listen to Oriental music, pure Arabic Oriental, and my mom would be into this world music. So the mix was very effective, basically.
Right.
So yeah, so at 19 I wanted to do both Arabic and English. And that was a challenge.
I feel like that's crazy, like English and Arabic languages. Like
Exactly.
you'd have to be super strong in both, though.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Given the fact that I do not have a strong, I wouldn't say like a musical background, but a theoretical background on music, because I didn't grow up studying anything or consuming any proper music education content. Right. So I grew up playing by ear, listening to a lot of music, dabbling with instruments, but nothing. Exactly, yeah, self-taught. Wow. And then at 23, I just recently decided I should consume more educational stuff about music so I can have a better understanding of how the industry works. And that's pretty much how it started. I've always written my own stuff. So I think at 20, it's when I realized this is the time where I should release something. I should put out an original. And I actually went crazy. But I think it was like the biggest accomplishments I've ever done.
Wow. Okay, so I have a few questions. Sorry, I really have a few questions. Yeah. My first question for the Arab listeners to this show are probably asking this right now. How did your parents accept this?
Again, I think it's the influence, really, because we sort of grew up listening to music, all of us together, and at gatherings, that's what we do. That's how we get along with each other, right? Not like typically over dinner or anything. We actually get together alone.
Like, weren't they worried?
I think they were actually excited because nobody has really taken this seriously before. So I was like the first one to be the face of this specific sort of, I don't know, gene, I would say. Like everybody else is either an engineer or a businessman or whatever.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, so I took that artistic, interesting path, I'd say. So everybody was like overwhelmed and supportive and excited. Cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you prefer singing in English or Arabic?
So here's the thing. When I started, so I grew up listening to a lot of punk and country, right? I know you hate country.
I didn't never saw you as a country.
I grew up listening to a lot of country and punk.
Country.
So country's pretty good, guys. So when I started independently, right? I started writing music, putting out music on all digital platforms with zero background on how the industry works.
Right.
When I got signed at 21, I was offered to do an entire album in Arabic, and that was like the shift. I put out a song, it's called Abali, and now it's like I think it's hit like 14 million right now. So that was the major shift. That was the push for me. I didn't know I was actually gonna, at some point start singing in Arabic professionally, right? Because I was just dabbling with a couple languages before, like French, Turkish, Armenian, and more of that. What? Yeah. Experimenting, right? Experimenting has always been my thing because that's the only way I could actually get better and learn and grow.
Wait, so who are you signed to right now?
Right now, I'm signed with Believe Digital. It's a label, music label in Lebanon.
Okay.
And what they do is they assign a manager for you, and it's like a consultant, right? You just call your consultant and go like, hey, I have this offer, blah blah blah. What do you think?
So what inspires you to write the songs that you sing?
Very interesting question.
That's why you're on the show. That's why you're on the show.
I think it's the raw stuff. You know, it's not the like. Hear me out. If you're like this, you know, person who listens to, what'd you listen to? Hip hop, R&B,
Girl,
jazz.
you know me.
Right, you're into
Zumba, bro. Jazz. Pop. 1940s. Yes,
Pop.
yes. Go ahead.
With all my respect for pop, like with all my respect to the pop artists, right? I feel like they can put out a song in less than like 15 minutes with a cover up story, like making up something about this, you know, I don't know, like let's say this. Here's an example. Let's say this is Justin Bieber, right? He puts out a song about whatever his ex. He writes it under 15 minutes and he puts it out, and then it hits like 40 million, and then people stop listening to it the day after, like the week after. That is no longer a hit. Mm-hmm. That is not history making. That's just a, you know.
Yeah, it's like a
contemporary,
mainstream.
Exactly, mainstream.
No, I get that. I agree with that.
And that's what I wanted when I first started. I actually discussed it with my label, and I said, please don't push me to do hits over days, overnights, because I'm not interested in that. I want songs I want music to live on, like Elvis Presley, Kulthum, Feiruz, Amy Winehouse. We keep listening to this songs, right? Like to all that kind of music.
The same covers, they take the riffs.
Exactly. You never stop listening to these songs. So that's it. That's what really inspires me to write more. It's the raw stuff that draws my attention. You know.
I see. Yeah. And I know you've been on like a lot of TV shows, and you have your own channel. So, what did you ever feel you have any kind of stage fright? Like, was it different from just recording in a studio?
I do have a little bit of stage fright. Yes, definitely. But I mean, it eases up a bit when I have a band with me or like a.
You got a whole band?
Yeah. It feels a bit weird because I'm the youngest and I have to give orders to these very old people. Yeah. Senior, that's the proper word.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So I know that I've to be honest, I've heard one of your songs, Ghaliaa, I think that one.
Yeah. It's actually country influenced, by the way. I'm glad you liked it.
Shut up! Never mind, I take that away. Bloopers! But I just wanted to understand, when you, is there a certain kind of expectation when you release a song? Like, do you feel like you have to set yourself up, if this doesn't get X number of downloads, I'm not happy? Do you kind of have that for yourself?
Yeah, I'm not into that mainstream stuff. I put it out because I like it. Mm-hmm. If the message means to me, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And I'm 100% sure there's so many people that actually that are looking for this type of feeling.
Sound,
type of sound, yes.
So where do you see yourself going from here? What's your ultimate goal here?
Right now, the plan is to cover the Middle East as much as we can. So I've only performed here, right, in the region.
Right.
I've already performed in Syria, back in my hometown. I dabbled the streets on Amman, Jordan a little bit. So the plan is to actually cover the Middle East, like Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Lebanon, so on and so forth.
I feel like Lebanon would be easy, since you have a label.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Exactly, right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, my next question is about kind of your fan base. So do you feel like you cater to a certain type of fan base and you feel like you kind of target them with your songs, or is it when you have a song, whoever follows it, Ahlan wa sahlan?
Right, yeah. Pretty much Ahlan wa sahlan, yeah.
Ahlan wa sahlan?
That's the strategy.
Okay, so the strategy is Ahlan wa sahlan.
I mean, it's more genuine, it's true, right?
You're authentically yourself.
Honestly, yeah.
I should be your PR person.
Thank you. Amazing.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask you I'm sure there's a lot of, singers out there that might have some stage fright, might not, not be sure if they actually want to enter the industry, they're scared of backlash. What is, one or two pieces of advice that you have for those people?
Definitely, do whatever you can with the info that you have currently. I would say stop undermining, stop underestimating the kind of info that you have. So, for instance, you're just starting out with podcasting, right? And you didn't grow up in a house where people were podcasting, right?
Right.
So you did what you can with the stuff that you have. Mm-hmm. I think it's passion driven. Seriously, it's all about passion. It's all about what you obsess over the entire day, right? Mm-hmm. Do that, make a move. Any move would be good, and eventually you would, find something that would actually make that shift for you in the career.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last question is, what is the biggest challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it?
I usually get emotional about this question, but I'll share it. So remember how we spoke about university a while ago? I didn't really have this. I didn't really experience this university college life because I was too scared to give in to the process, because obviously I just mentioned that I didn't study music, right? I studied media, and that wasn't really my thing. But I studied for 4 years, and I thought, like, I keep obsessing and worrying and just really overthinking all these 4 years that passed, where I could actually, where I could have done something, right? Because honestly, 4 years is a huge gap, and I could have had a diploma in music or something, right? So that's kind of,
that's your challenge.
Yeah, okay. That's a challenge. So the imbalance was very, very challenging.
So how did you overcome those feelings?
I mean, I had to compromise at some point. Like there are many classes where I didn't attend, and there were many like F's on my papers where I put on the side, and I'm like, it's all right. Maybe I didn't do well at uni. That's not my thing. It's okay, no matter what the professors were pointing out and, and saying. That's fine. Yeah, that was a challenge. It's the balance that you try to work towards.
No, I definitely agree that the paths that we are picked for us by society are not necessarily the most, those paths may not be the ones for us. Like the conventional, I'm going to go to high school, college, whatever, now do master's, PhD, whatever. Not everybody actually is good at that. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody succeeds even when they try to do that. So nowadays, it's not so much like where your degree is from, it's more about your work experience, right? Yes, so I think if the unexperienced singer, can give some advice to singers. I think if you continue to get the experience of singing, even if you haven't necessarily gotten a degree related to music or had, much experience, being, taught, online courses, whatever it is, I think the lesson we learned from, myself and for you to do is to be passionate and to maintain that passion, fight for it, defend it, work on it, put in the time, the weekends, and after whatever hours, and make sure that you're authentically you throughout it, right? Make sure that you don't change for anybody. That's why the first question. That's why the first question I asked you was what kind of music do you do? And you're like, I told my record label not to do for me to do a one hit wonder. That for me is really inspiring. That's the kind of person I like to have in my positivity circle.
All about the circle.
Seriously, all about the circle. So my last favor to ask of you, please, can you sing us a song?
Yes, I would like to sing you a little part of Abadi. Okay, go ahead. ترجع الأيام يا الله شو عبا. Give me a little bit of
got it.
عيد اللي كان لو ليل من الليالي ترجع الأيام يا الله شو عبالي عيد اللي كان لو ليل من الليالي.
Wonderful. That was
Sarah. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thanks. You have an amazing voice.
Thank you so much. You're an amazing person.
But on that note, I wanted to just give you guys a heads up that obviously Ghaliaa is on Instagram, and she has her own merchandise. Is that correct? And you have her own website.
Yeah.
So feel free to go check out her Instagram page. I will be tagging her in my post when I publish this episode. So check out her merch, see what you like, help a girl out. But thank you so much for being on the show with me. Of course, I had a pleasure talking to you as always, and keep singing, keep rocking it. Literally.
Yay! Stay tuned.